Welcome to Mickey, Marvel, and More, Disney news, commentary, and opinion. From theme parks to Thanos and from Skywalker to Skyliner, my family and I will discuss it all. So let's go!
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hello, Mark here, and welcome to another episode of Mickey, Marvel, and More. Thanks so much for being here with us. First time or long time, I hope you have your sea legs, because in this episode, we are going to wrap up our first ever Mickey, Marvel, and More Disney Cruise Trip Report. In the final part of this report, we are going to cover what everybody wants to know about pertaining to a Disney cruise: the food. So get ready to join Zack, Sophie, Laura, and I on Deck 11 for some chicken tenders while we discuss all of the different restaurants and bars and dining locations aboard the Disney Wish. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right to the family chat and give you the straight poop straight from the poop deck. Well, maybe poop and food don't go together, so completely disregard that. Let's get to it. Arg, me matey. Okay, welcome back to the family chat and our final segment of our Disney Cruise Line Halloween on the High Seas trip report. This episode we are going to dedicate to all of the fine dining and the lounge locations that we enjoyed on board the ship. So we're going to start off a little bit with our lounges. Now, I don't know that we necessarily need to go do a deep dive into each lounge, but I think we should definitely talk about the key ones. One of the first ones I want to talk about is one that really surprised me how much I enjoyed it, was the Keg and Compass. You want to tell us what the Keg and Compass is, hon?
Sure. So the Keg and Compass is a Viking-themed lounge on the cruise ship, but it had a very nautical feel to it. Lots of wood, lots of leather booths. It was a fun and also laid-back atmosphere.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It really surprised me. I do think they missed a golden opportunity to base it on the movie Tangled, because on the back of the Disney Wish is Rapunzel. They could have very easily made this the Snuggly Duckling. I feel like that was a huge missed opportunity. Okay, let's throw to our Chicago contingent of Zack and Sophie joining us from their underground bunker for the second half of this Disney Cruise Line trip report. What did you guys think about the Keg and Compass?
So I was so sad that we did not discover this one earlier.
Right.
I think the reason we never saw it is because that's where they held all of like the wine and beer tastings.
Oh, yeah.
That
And
may be
whenever
it.
they do those, they close the doors and no one else can come in.
Right.
So this one was only open so much of the time of the day.
I think it was open in the evenings, and during the day it was closed for all of the samplings and stuff.
So like it was just really hard to hit it at the right time.
Yeah, and it's also, if I remember correctly, it was located near the back of Luna.
Yeah.
The top floor of Luna, which was another lounge that we went to, and I think it was kind of hidden away in the corner a little bit. And this leads us to our previous discussion about the places on the ship being sort of smaller and sort of tucked away. And I think that may be another reason that we didn't catch it right away.
Yeah, so I loved the theming in here. I loved the vibes. It was a little bit Viking, a little bit like old-fashioned navigation themed. There was also a sports bar element to it, but that was relatively minor.
One of the things that I wanted to say generally about the lounges on the Wish that I really appreciated is I felt like they were a little more heavily themed than perhaps their counterparts on the other ship. So Keg and Compass not only had this kind of cohesive nautical Viking kind of theme to it, but it carried through with the drinks on the menu. So they had grog on the menu.
Right.
They had various kinds of mead that you could drink and other really fun themed drinks.
They had a big pretzel that if you ordered it, they brought it out like it was hanging on a rack of meat.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Which we ordered. No question. Did you enjoy the keg and compass, Sophie?
Yeah, I think it was by far my favorite lounge on the ship. It was just
Wow.
so cool and the theming was really good. I got the Skull Sangria
Hmm.
and I would recommend that one. That was really good.
I got I believe it was called something grog, but essentially it was an old fashioned, and it was really good.
Hmm.
Another one of the big highlights for me on board the Disney Wish was the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge. This is sort of a little bit like the lounge in the Disney theme parks.
It's a combination of Oga's Cantina and Space 220.
Yes, I believe that is 100% accurate because there's a big, huge screen that sends you to different locations in hyperspace, and they have huge, giant rumble speakers under all the seats. So when you go into hyperspace, the entire bar vibrates as you change locations, and there's all kinds of Easter eggs on the screen. And the best part about this is we went on the Halloween costume night. So four of us were dressed in Star Wars attire, and we were able to walk into the bar like we were just part of the universe.
That's right. That was fun. Again, they had Star Wars themed drinks on the menu that I thought were a lot of fun. I had a drink that supposedly originated from Mustafar. So that was fun. We did not order the drink that cost, was it 5,000 credits? We decided to skip that one.
Yeah, I believe that is a real thing you can order, and it said I believe that translates to $5,000 if I am not mistaken. I'm not sure if it was Zack or Parker who looked up a little research on this thing, but apparently it was the drink that came inside that huge ice cream container, and on the inside of that were credits from the Empire and whatever, little bits of cash, and your drink was in the middle of it. But you got to keep the container. But for $5,000, oh boy, that's a lot. What did you guys think of the Hyperspace Lounge?
So this is another one that like I wish we had gotten to spend a little more time at, but
Yeah.
you know, short cruise is what it is. This is actually something that I didn't get to bring up in the previous episode, but this is both a negative and a positive, and I'm going to explain why.
Sure.
I, in general, prefer the lounges and bar spaces that are very enclosed
Okay.
because they can make them way more themed. They feel more secluded. You feel more immersed.
Okay.
So the Hyperspace Lounge and the Keg and Compass are both like this. They are in their own rooms. They are in their own space. They are fully themed. They are, you know, you can be fully immersed in those spaces.
Right.
And that's what makes it so fun to be there.
I agree.
Previous Disney cruise ships, a lot of their bar and lounge spaces are like this. Or they are within sort of I think they called it like on the fantasy, like the adult district.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bunch of these lounges all close together, and it feels like I don't know, like you're bar hopping in like a big city or something.
Yeah.
They did a similar thing on the Magic and the Wonder.
Right. So that's something that the Wish kind of didn't do, because we've talked about everything being spread out. So Hyperspace Lounge and the Keg and Compass are two fantastic examples of this more secluded approach, providing a much more fun and immersive experience. Whereas a lot of the other bars and lounges on the Wish are just kind of out in the open, and I feel exposed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best description is they're like an open-faced sandwich. They have one wall at the back, and then they're just open air.
So the theming doesn't feel quite as like enveloping. It's not quite at the same level because it's like a themed wall or a themed ceiling. It's not the whole space, but the Hyperspace Lounge is a fantastic example of using this secluded theming to its Disney theming at its best.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I agree with that completely. What are your thoughts, Sophie?
I thought it was good. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Our drinks were good.
Our drinks were really good. Zach and I got the whatever that pink coconut.
It was
one.
the same. Yeah, it was the same Mustafar drink.
Oh, okay, yeah, which was great, but does have edible glitter in it. So if you order that, be wary because I ate all the shaved coconut on top of mine and then went to the bathroom and realized I had sparkles all over my face. So
I
Hey,
missed
it
that
added to
part
your
of the
strawberry
story.
shortcake look.
Exactly. You were glittery.
yeah.
I think one of my favorite memories from the Hyperspace Lounge has nothing to do with theming, nothing to do with the bar. It's all about after Zack and Sophie won the trivia contest, they walked into the bar. They were the only two walking into the door at this time. Both of them wearing their medals that say winner, and Zack just puts his hands in the air like he's an Olympic champion as they walked
Well,
into the location.
that was our final trivia of the cruise, and we kind of decided to go to it last second.
Yeah, you and Sophie decided to go on your own.
Yeah, a good time.
I'll make a quick note. All of the lounges also had some really fun mocktails for the under 21 crowd, or for those
Yeah,
that just
they did.
weren't interested in drinking. And one of the ones that Isabel ordered at Hyperspace Lounge was particularly cute. I don't recall the name of it. It was some sort of a melon flavored mocktail, but it had a little Yoda that was made out of kiwi.
It did.
And it was so cute, so clever.
I think it was a take on a Shirley Temple.
Mm-hmm.
It had some sort of a name that incorporated Shirley in it, or Temple, but it was definitely a really cool mocktail. The rest of these on the list, we can go through them pretty quickly because these were, like Zack had mentioned, these were the open face locations. And most of these we were just kind of at for trivia. We didn't really experience them as the bars that they were intended to be. One of these was an enclosed space. It was Nightingale's. It was a piano bar. And I believe Zack and Sophie were there more than we were. What did you think of Nightingale's, guys?
So we didn't get any of the drinks there, but I will say this much: the vibes were off.
Really?
Yeah, we were there for about 2 seconds because I wanted to check out whoever Piano Dave was. And we walked in and he was doing like piano covers of Disney songs and it was dead. So I was like, actually, I don't want to be here anymore. And then we went to the Bayou, which is also a great space.
The Nightingales, their whole thing is bubbly drinks.
Okay.
So I think on the menu it said like frozen bubbles, sweet bubbles, and sour bubbles, I think, were the options.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It was something. It was something similar to that. I don't think that's exactly what it was, though.
It was like air and sky, or like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like bubbly drinks, and then you've got your piano player. And I think the thing that makes a piano bar is if the person playing the piano is a lot of fun.
Yes.
This guy was not that.
Piano Dave fell a little flat.
Yeah, his piano playing was beautiful, but he was not much of an entertainer, it felt like.
Not a showman.
Well, I think the vibe of the place was supposed to be sort of this classy, upscale, soft piano music, but I think it ended up kind of being stuffy.
All of the entrances to the place are these big glass windows, like these big glass window doors, so it doesn't feel very like intimate either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to go out on a limb and say that if you're booking a Disney cruise, you don't necessarily want a classy, upscale, adult piano bar feel. Like,
right.
You're there for the campiness and the fun of all of the theming, and so it felt incongruous with the rest of the ship, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
And in stark contrast to our experience of a piano bar on the Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas, that guy was the kind of guy you want to have in a piano bar.
Oh, yeah.
He was putting on the show. He was taking requests. He was changing the songs up. He was making them funny. It was exactly what you wanted Nightingales to be, but it wasn't. And I really think that they hit a home run on the Anthem of the Seas with Royal Caribbean with this guy, because he was incredibly awesome. And if you want to go back and listen to the conversation that Laura and I had about Disney Cruise Line versus Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, go back in our archive and feel free to check out that episode as well. So we won't go into too deeply the differences between the two cruise lines, but I think that in this particular instance, Royal Caribbean nailed the theme with the idea of the piano player, because this guy was out of this world, and he was probably my favorite part of that Royal Caribbean cruise, was the hanging out in the bar with that guy. Sophie touched on it briefly. The Bayou, it was one of those open-faced bars that was exposed on both sides. It was in a middle corridor of the middle of the ship. I didn't have any drinks there, but it was themed after Tiana's Bayou, I believe.
Yeah.
And had all kinds of flowers on the ceilings. And they had these little cubby seats up near the top of the bar, and they had a long bar to sit on facing the stage, and that's where we had a lot of our trivia contests. I thought this place was very well appointed. Did you guys agree?
Yeah, I think it works very well for trivia contests. I think it's a great space for that. I think not my ideal space for a bar because it is so exposed and is such a high traffic area.
Mm-hmm.
But their beignets were good.
I didn't realize you guys had the beignets there.
Yeah, I didn't mind its being exposed. So when Zach and I went to Nightingale's and then didn't like it, we just immediately turned around and went to the Bayou, and I got like a glass of rosé and ordered a beignet because I'd never had one before and I wanted to try one. And it was really good.
I thought that the Bayou was a very pretty lounge. Mark, you touched on it a little bit, but they had magnolia blossoms covering the ceiling, and also lighting effects to look like fireflies.
Oh, that's right.
So
They did.
It was a very pretty setting, even though it was open. I think it worked in that setting because you were supposed to feel like you were sitting outside in a garden by the bayou.
Having a mint julep.
Yes, right.
Oh, I should have gotten a mint julep.
Right? We missed opportunity. One of the other locations we spent a bit of time in was Luna, and this is sort of what I would say is their entertainment space. It was made for a band. It was made for a major game show where they had a big, huge screen that they could access. And this was located, I believe it was right behind the Bayou. If I remember, it was 2 levels. It was on the 3rd and the 4th floor. And it was their big, quote unquote, event space for bands. Didn't have a drink there, but they did have a menu. I think we did 2 trivia contests there.
Mm-hmm.
What were everybody's thoughts on Luna? What did you think about it? I thought it was a great performance space. We did see that band there briefly.
Yeah, we did catch a little bit of sort of the retro band that they had there. They were very good. If we would have had more time, I would have liked to have seen an entire
things that we missed.
set of theirs. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a nice space. I don't know that I have too much to say about it.
Yeah.
I did like that space. It felt somewhat generic to me. Like, I think the theme was supposed to be like the wishing star, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I think you're correct.
But the area of the ship that it was in, it felt all very cohesive because on either side of Luna were the 2 movie theaters on the ship.
Right.
So it was all very dark. There were lots of like more subtle detailing and like star theming around. And so cohesively, it's a very nice area. And I think it's also interesting that I hadn't experienced a 2-story lounge on a cruise ship until we did the one on Royal Caribbean. And then this one felt very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that they had looked at the kind of things that other cruise ships were doing and saying, okay, we're going to build this new ship and it's going to launch in 2022. Let's make ourselves a double level entertainment space, just like we've seen on some other ships. And I'm pretty sure that's where they got their inspiration from.
So let's move on to Enchanted Sword, which was sort of a combination cafe and bar. I didn't have anything from there, but Sophie, I think you did.
Yeah, I believe this was at the backside of the Grand Hall on the 2nd level of the Grand Hall.
It was right before the launch party.
Right before the launch party, everybody was trying to get a little drink, and I thought we were going to have to hold Sophie back there for a little bit because how long was it taking, Sophie?
I don't know. It took forever. There was like a family in front of me where the little kids were monopolizing the bar stools, and the family was just hanging out there and kind of wouldn't move, and so I couldn't get up to the front.
I'm not even sure they had
Eventually they
drinks.
what?
I'm not even sure they all had drinks either.
They didn't. I think just like one of the parents did, which, it's as much their right to be on the cruise as anybody else. I was just sort of like, why do they have their children at the adult bar space and I'm, ordering a drink and I can't get up there? But also it seemed like other people kept coming up and then just shoving through and ordering before me. So I was waiting for too long.
I mean, I
But
think ultimately this place was supposed to be a coffee bar,
Mhm.
and I forget what drink it
Sure.
was you wanted. I think you had originally talked about maybe some sort of a coffee drink, but I think
yeah, it was a coffee cocktail. It
okay,
was like, and it was really yummy. It was very sweet. It had like Bailey's in it, and so I recommend the drink. But yeah, the bar was just, I think they had too many people.
well, and they only had
So
like one or two people behind the counter, and of course they were doing the thing with the drinks where they were putting the little detailed designs on the top, and that takes a lot of extra time.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
I think they just weren't set up for heavy traffic flow because, as we talked about in the previous episode, this was before the deck party before we left, and it was supposed to be outside, and they had to move it inside. So I think this little bar slash coffee location got overwhelmed.
Mhm.
They also suffered due to the weather. All right, I think we now need to move on to probably the part of the review that everybody wants to know about, and that is the restaurants. So I think we will start with talking about the Marceline Market Buffet, which was the main buffet on the ship, and it was the back of the ship. It was the place we ate on the very first day when we first got on board for lunch, and it's the place where we had breakfast 2 of the mornings. What did you guys think of the Marceline Market Buffet as a buffet?
I think I actually preferred it to the last cruise ship we were on. I thought the restaurant did seem to have enough space, and it like all the buffet options were really good. And it was one of the places that had a lot of those little details of like the old school animation, or like I think the lights were like had a pasta strainer design
Mhm.
kind of around
Yeah,
them, stuff like that. That it was just very cute and fun.
I really liked the theming here. I thought the food was actually pretty good for like a cruise line buffet.
yeah.
Um, I personally, this may be crazy,
Oh,
but
oh, crazy.
um, I think of the other Disney cruise ships we've been on, and even the Royal Caribbean ship we've been on, I think this is the best Disney. I think this is the best cruise ship buffet.
I agree.
I
I
agree with you too.
The theming was fantastic. The food was actually really solid. Because I feel like on the other cruise ships that we've been on, you go there for breakfast and that's about it.
Hmm.
I would have been happy to go here for just about any meal.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, I So the other Disney cruise ships, all the older ones, they all had cabanas, which is their like buffet style place. It's relatively light on the theming and is very like tropical. It's like tropical esque
Yeah.
Hmm.
because originally Disney Cruise Line was only in the Caribbean.
Correct.
But the way this is set up, not only is it paying tribute to like the like Disney roots, but it's a higher theming with lots of little jokes and gags all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, and it's higher quality food, and the way that it's themed, I feel like the boat can go to other locations, and the buffet is never going to feel like out of theming.
Yeah. I agree.
I didn't think about it that way, Zach. You are 100% right.
Like, if you take the Magic to the British Isles, a tropical themed buffet feels a little more out of place than one that feels like, I don't know, a farmer's market.
Yeah.
No, you are 100% right. I had not considered that at all.
I thought the variety of food on the buffet was fantastic. It seemed like they had something for everyone. They had a couple of stations for any meal where you could get things customized. For breakfast, it was customized omelets. So I felt like there was something good for everyone at any time.
Yeah,
I feel like
100%.
all the other cruise ships we've been on, when we go to the buffet, we usually struggle to find seating. I feel like we didn't struggle to find seating this time.
I felt like it encompassed the entire back half of the ship, and it had seating outside if it wasn't raining or it wasn't too hot. But the seating inside, there was plenty of it. I didn't feel like we ever really struggled.
Yeah, I felt like Disney really hit the mark with their quick service options this time. It's not on our list to talk about, but even the quick service location on Castaway Key where we had lunch
Yes.
was good. It had variety. There weren't a ton of things, but what they had was really good.
It was very good. And we'll quickly touch on the other quick service options, which were all on deck 11 around the pool area. I guess we can really only talk about two of them. The entire place was called Mickey and Friends. Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods. That was the name of this whole food court. The only two that I experienced, I don't know what exactly everybody else did, but I experienced Mickey's Smokestack Barbecue and Goofy's Grill. The barbecue I thought was really good, pretty decent for cruise ship, and they had a nice selection of sauces, and they had, the magical mac and cheese, which was very good. And then, of course, at Goofy's Grill, if you're going to be on a Disney cruise ship, you have to eat the chicken tenders and the very, very good honey mustard sauce. Both of these are cruise ship staples to me, and I enjoyed my experience with both of those.
The two that we didn't get a chance to sample were the pizza place and the Donald's, like, make your own Mexican type
Right.
thing, which I heard really good things about. And again, couldn't do it all.
Had
Didn't
we
have
had
enough
extra
time.
days.
So we didn't get to sample everything, but the barbecue was very, very good. And of course, the chicken tenders always deliver.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the food court area?
Yeah, I thought this was very much an upgrade over previous Disney cruise ships. I don't know what the Wish was cooking, but they cooked on their they cooked on their quick service counter service locations. They really were so much more upgraded than previous cruises we've been on. Sophie and I also, I think, really only experienced the barbecue place, but you got burgers, fries, chicken tenders at one of them. You got ice cream at one. You've got classic, I guess you would say theme park fare at all of these locations, but they were all very good.
Everything
And
was well executed.
Even the ones I didn't go to looked good.
Yeah. Had we had more time, we would have probably sampled more of them.
Yeah, if we had more time, I think Sophie and I probably would have gone to the ice cream cupcake sweets inside out shop they had.
Mhm.
That looked very cute. We only popped in there one time just to look at it. Everything in there looked really good. I bet it would have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they went above and beyond on all of the quick service locations. And maybe this will be a controversial opinion,
Oh
but
boy.
I think they didn't do as well with all of the big ticket sit down locations.
Oh
Ooh.
boy. And that's our next segment. What a brilliant transition, Zachary. So we're going to start off with our rotational dining locations, which are the big sit-down restaurants on the ship. This ship had 3 in the rotational dining. And then, of course, they had some upcharge adult locations that we did not sample because we just didn't have time. So we'll start with our very first night. We went to a location called Worlds of Marvel. And as you can assume, it was based around the Worlds of Marvel. And it was a film featuring Ant-Man and the Wasp, the new Captain America. It had Miss Marvel. It had highlights from other films along the way, Wakanda, Black Panther, all that kind of stuff. And then there was a film that you followed through the entire meal. And then there was an item, I believe it was a quantum chamber on your table that you had to interact with to help, quote unquote, save the day for the film. I will say, before we even talk about the food, I want to address what I think is going to be the Achilles heel of these sit-down restaurants on the Wish: repeatability. The food can be fine. The food can be great. But I think this experience of the film, it's going to have to be changed ever so often, or people are going to get bored with going to this place with the same film over and over again. Now, the ship's only been out for 3 years now, but when they hit that 5-year mark, I mean, it's a film, so they have the ability to bring in a new film and a new experience. But I think they've locked themselves in on a couple of these locations to where people aren't going to want to repeat them, along with Arendelle, which we're getting ready to talk about as well with their show. Whereas on the other Disney cruise ships, you had the Animator's Palette, which was sort of the show of their rotational dining, but it had a different feel every time because you drew a different picture. And yes, it went from color to black and white, and it was the same, but it felt different every time. This is going to be locked in and be the same. I guess when everybody gives their food reviews, they can give their thoughts on this as well. But that's my 2 cents on the Disney Wish, 2 of their locations. The other one, 1923, is just a very nice little fancy restaurant which had really, really good food. Okay, so let's talk about the Worlds of Marvel and their food. Their menu was really good. I don't think it was the best menu.
I had the Burberry spiced pork chop, which
Yes.
was excellent. But I have to say, for me, this meal, the highlight was the dessert, which was an ice cream sundae. And one of the things that I noticed with these menus that had not been on prior Disney food menus is they had a specialty ice cream sundae on the menu every night that was themed to the menu, themed to the restaurant.
Yeah, what I had that night was the rosemary roasted beef tenderloin, which was very good. I don't think it was the best meal that I had on the ship, but it was all very good. What did you guys have, and what did you guys think about Worlds of Marvel, Chicago contingent?
I had the pork chop. I thought it was fine. I feel like the food that we had at the Marvel restaurant and the stuff that was like on the menu, it to me seemed the most basic.
Okay.
It seemed like your most basic options that you would find at one of these kinds of restaurants, which is surprising to me. I mean, considering the theming of the place,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as longtime listeners of the show know, I am a Marvel fan. So I was very excited for this restaurant, and I thought the theming was fun. I thought the movie is fun for a first watch. It will
Right.
probably not age remarkably well if you are coming multiple times, like you said. And I thought the food was like just kind of the least interesting. So it was, I don't know. It's tricky for me in that way. I don't know.
What'd you think, Sophie, about Worlds of Marvel?
I'm not a huge Marvel fan, so it wasn't my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the food was fine. I got scallop pasta that was pretty good. So I don't have anything to complain about there, but the film is kind of a lot and it's a little bit overstimulating.
Oh, yeah.
So for any guests who have sensory issues, it is a lot to, you're trying to enjoy your meal and then there are huge screens and it's loud sound effects and something like lighting up on the table. So I was fine. I'm not trying to complain, but I don't think it's my favorite Disney cruise restaurant I've been on.
We were sat right next to one of the screens for
Right.
context.
Yeah, which in and of itself isn't a bad thing, but it was a particularly large screen.
Yeah, so we were in the extreme front for Worlds of Marvel, in contrast to Arendelle, where
Our
we
next
were
location.
at the back of the restaurant.
Yeah, our next location was Arendelle, and as you can guess, it's based on Frozen, and it was themed around the royal family welcomes you to an enchanted evening. They were celebrating, I believe, the engagement of, oh, help me here, I don't remember their names.
Anna and Kristoff.
Anna and Kristoff, that's right. And it was a dinner show which had a central stage. And this was a very, very large restaurant. And we could not have been farther away from the main stage if we tried.
There was a pole in our way.
Yeah, there was also a pole in our way. And I don't want to say that that ruined my experience, but it definitely didn't enhance it. I think that Laura definitely has some thoughts about Arendelle as a show and not just as a restaurant.
Right. So, I mean, this whole experience is booked as a dinner show, right?
Right.
And so I really had high expectations for the show portion of the dinner show. I don't think it was, I don't think I was disappointed completely because we were at the back, but I think that did have something to do with it. I felt like I didn't really know what was going on in the show. I couldn't really tell. You had the main characters. So you had Anna and Elsa and Kristoff and Oaken, the guy that owns the trading post, and you had Olaf, and they were kind of up there walking around in a circle, and they were kind of singing some songs from the show. But I couldn't really tell. Was this a parody?
Felt like a parody.
Tribute show? I couldn't really tell what was going on. And then they had some kind of minstrel players up there that were doing some instrumental versions of songs from Frozen. Again, that was fine, but I wasn't really sure why they were there and why we weren't just getting the characters that sang the songs in the film to sing the songs at the dinner show. Olaf got up there and did a number, and I mean, for all of the cool special effects that they have in their theater shows and in their other restaurants, I was a little underwhelmed by the fact that Olaf was on a cart, that another cast member was kind of wheeling around the stage, and his orientation was such that when he was facing you, it was facing the handle of the cart, and so the cast member was standing in the way. And so you couldn't really ever see his face. It was always just kind of from the side.
I think even if you were up front, you would see the backside of the cast member.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird. And then the part that frankly just sort of was it for me is you get your big song, Let It Go.
It is the song without question that people associate with Frozen.
And did we get Elsa singing Let It Go?
No, we did not.
No, we got Oaken and Kristoff singing it.
But they were sort of leading a sing-along, which was weird.
And so it was almost a little bit like they were kind of making fun of it or making light of it. Again, my comment about it being a parody. So I wasn't really sure what it was supposed to do or what it was supposed to accomplish. But dang it, if I'm going to sit in a restaurant called Arendelle and eat Norwegian food for dinner, I want to hear Elsa sing Let It Go. I don't think that's too much to ask. So anyway, we didn't even stick around for the Elsa and Anna table-to-table meet and greet afterwards because I was just kind of done by that point. I was not happy.
Wow.
Well, I will also say I'm pretty sure the meet and greet wasn't going to be much. Based on our prior night at Worlds of Marvel.
I forgot to mention
Spider-Man
that.
Came up to your table, gave you a fist bump, and then ran away.
I believe we'll call him the Spirit Halloween Spider-Man because the costume wasn't even that great, which is very disappointing for Disney.
So I will say I thought the theming at Arendelle was great. I think had we been closer to the stage, we probably would have had a better experience because as it was, I couldn't really tell what was going on, and I didn't feel compelled to watch the show. I liked that their Olaf was an animatronic. I thought that was neat. And then I think they had really interesting food options here that were pretty good. But I think something I'm coming to realize with both of the shows that they have on this, like both of the dinner shows they have with this one and the movie at the Marvel restaurant, you can't compete with food.
Ladies and gentlemen, mic drop. Good night, everybody.
No. So, like, as someone who has performed while people are eating before, they are not as interested and they are not as drawn to that, and therefore the performance becomes less impactful and less a part of it.
Yeah.
And as Sophie said, almost an annoyance.
Like, if you were bringing out these, high caliber meals, people are going to be focused on that. and they are only going to be half watching the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sophie, what do you think about that?
I've been making a face as Zach said that, so he probably can anticipate I'm going to disagree with him a little bit.
Okay.
For context, we got the "you can't compete with food" comment from our improv teacher, and it was in reference to if you go into a bar or a restaurant or any kind of event where there's food and you are trying to put on improv, people will not care. I think it's a much different situation for a dinner show where it is billed as a dinner show.
Okay.
So, like a singing or dancing situation like that, I think can be totally fine. You know, I've had other dining experiences within the realm of Disney that were great like that. Like, oh, what was the one where we had the really good gnocchi?
Raglan Road at Disney Springs.
Raglan Road, they do like full on, dancing. And
you know what? You're so right.
Great. So I think the issue that we're all having is just that we were not seated in an ideal space for the shows, and also perhaps the shows were lacking.
You know what? I think that's a much better critique of what I was trying to express.
Sorry to come in and be contrarian.
I think what you're both saying is probably the food was more interesting than the show, and that was probably due to a failure of both the show concept, the performance, and the seating arrangement.
Yeah, I think we just got a rough hand dealt to us with our seating,
which you have zero control over. So let's quickly talk about the food at Arendelle. Although we've been ragging on the show, I don't want people to think that the food isn't good. I thought the atmosphere of this place was nice. The theming of the restaurant itself was nice. I don't think Disney usually falls flat in that department, and they did not. And the food itself was actually pretty decent.
I thought the theming of the menu was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought the Norwegian theming was kind of neat. I think the pork again, which was very good. And I took a break from my ice cream sundae for this one and had the Troll Family's Rock Chocolate Bar for dessert, which was quite good.
Yeah, I had I did get one of their appetizers. I had the Anna's Cold Board, and it was a bunch of different versions of smoked salmon and cooked salmon, and it was really, really good. I really very much enjoyed it. And I also believe many people enjoyed the carrot soup. And apparently Isabel was on a soup tour during this cruise, and she had soup at every meal. Now, I don't think she preferred the carrot soup over the other soups that she had, but I tasted your carrot soup, and I thought it was pretty decent.
It was very good.
Of course, there was a good bread service every night with different dips. I had the pork tenderloin this night, and I thought it was a really good meal. It was really well done and well cooked. What did you guys think about your meals at Arendelle?
So I thought, again, the food here was very good, very interesting. That's something that I look forward to about the cruises, is really interesting, high quality food that I may have not had anywhere else.
Sure.
Like I said, I thought the stuff that they were serving at the Marvel restaurant, while good, is, not as interesting as the stuff they were serving here, which is all Norwegian inspired. And I know that Parker, he said he was going for the full Ligonberry.
That's right.
Anything that had Ligonberry in it, he ordered. So I thought that was funny. We both had the the Arendelle yacht cake, which was like meatballs and egg noodles.
Parker said it was a lot of food.
It was. The meatball in particular was a lot of meat.
Very dense.
Yeah, it was very dense. But it was all still very good. I forget which dessert I had, but I think I remember the desserts also all being very good. Yeah, so no, I don't have a ton of complaints to say about the food at Arendelle. I thought it was I will say this, I thought our food got better each night.
I agree. What did you think about Arendelle's food, Sophie?
Yeah, I agree the food got better each night. So I was pretty happy with the food. I got the ribeye and it was good. But I was very envious of the carrot soup because I got to taste it and I didn't order it. And I should have just asked them to bring me some. But I was like,
they would have brought it for you.
Yeah, I think the carrot soup is really good.
And that's surprising because Sophie always is on point with her ordering and she missed the soup.
It's true. I wasn't sure I would like a carrot soup, and then they were raving about it, and I tried it, and I was like, "No, that was the right order."
And I think I agree with Zach. Our food got better each night, culminating in our final night at 1923, which is themed around when the Disney company was formed with the brothers, Walt and Roy. And there are two dining rooms to this restaurant. There is a Walt Disney dining room and a Roy Disney dining room. Luckily, we were in the Walt dining room. Very well appointed, really cool artifacts on the wall, art, maps, animation cells, all kinds of things that were really, really cool and representative of the early Disney animated phase. And I've got to tell you what, this meal was outstanding.
The decor was very old Hollywood, lots of dark
Yes.
wood, lots of sort of Art Deco, classic decor. And as you mentioned, there were a lot of, in the display cases, a lot of sketches and pieces from a lot of Disney classic films.
Yeah,
So
if
that
I
was a
had
lot
more
of
time, I
fun.
would have walked around and looked at everything.
Yeah, this was pretty easily my favorite of the three rotational restaurants. I thought the theming was great. I thought the food was great. I think this was the only night where I more or less cleaned my plate with each thing. It was all very, very good. No notes.
Yeah, I had another steak this night. I had the 1923 peppered filet mignon, and it was cooked exactly as I requested. I will say that when I had steak at the other restaurants and I it was cooked the way I asked. So I never had to send anything back. It was all very well done and it was all such good food. This night was really, it was no notes. 1923, hands down, the best restaurant on the ship for rotational dining. Would you agree, Sophie?
Yeah, I would agree. Everything I ordered was great. I also got steak, and it was cooked great, perfectly. And we got like an ahi tuna
Oh, yes,
appetizer
that
that
was
was really
so
good.
good.
So I think that was the best night. I will say I think that this cruise's like sit down restaurants, I don't think overall were quite as impressive as the previous one I was on, which
The
was
fantasy.
the fantasy. But I think that this one was like up to par with the fantasy restaurants.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that that is a true statement. And I believe your steak was ordered medium R by our
Yes.
dining team. And I want to have a quick tip of the hat. Our dining team that followed us every night was a really good pair. They were fun. They were funny. One of them was constantly doing a Mickey Mouse voice. And that is one of the best parts of a Disney cruise to me is the dining team that goes with you. And no matter the restaurant, no matter the theme, they are with you every night. They remember what you have. They remember what your favorites are, what your dislikes are. If you are somebody who prefers soup, they were suggesting to Isabel that she needs to try this soup or that soup once they realized she was a soup fan. And I think this was the very first time on a Disney cruise ship that the head waiter was useful. I don't mean to say that in a disparaging way to the other head waiters we've had, but he was hands on. He wasn't just walking around, a tip of the hat each night. He remembered us. He talked to us and he gave us actually tips that were helpful and useful. And he was serving when there needed to be serving done. He wasn't just a figurehead. And I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah, best head waiter we've ever had.
100%. What did you guys think about the wait staff?
I mean, as always, they were fantastic. They were very friendly, very helpful. Yeah, the head waiter was giving like genuinely good tips and advice for what to do the following day. I think because of that, we are going to change how we do packing the final night going forward.
Yeah.
100%, because and I guess it was just my ignorance of not doing my research, but apparently you don't need to have your luggage outside of your door at 10 p.m. the night before. You can keep it with you.
Shh, don't tell everybody else.
Right? You can keep it with you and then just take your time leaving the ship, wait for the final call, and then stroll out with your luggage and no crowds. I mean, to me, that was mind-blowing information because I know that in the past you've had to rush to get your and that would have been really hard on the Halloween night when we were all in costume. You had to rush to get your bags packed outside your door at 10 p.m., keep the stuff back behind you needed for the next day and have it packed into carry-on, and it'd be a bag that would be totally stuffed and heavy and ridiculous. With this information, and then you'd have to wait inside this big warehouse to get your luggage and then go to your bus and then go to the airport. Now you walk off the ship with your luggage, get right on the bus and leave with no crowds. This was mind blowing. And like Zack said, this is going to alter the way we do Disney cruises.
Game changer.
So let's wrap up our two-part discussion of our Disney Cruise Line trip. I think that we had a really good time. Unfortunately, it was a very, very fast trip, but it was the time slot we were given with Parker's fall break, so we only had a small amount of time anyway, and I feel we made the most of every single day that we were on this trip. I thought the Disney Wish was beautiful. I thought it was well appointed. I love the classic lines of the Disney ships with the multiple colors on the outside, looking like a classic 1920s, 30s cruise ship. Beautiful. I thought the staff was great. I thought that our room steward was great. I thought our rooms were great. I think the showers were slightly bigger on this cruise ship than on the previous Disney cruise ships. I love having a balcony and stepping out there, particularly at night when you can look out into the dark sea and look into the great abyss. It's a really cool feeling. In general, I think the restaurants on this ship weren't as good as some of the other Disney cruise ship restaurants. 1923 being the exception, or actually being more like the other cruise ships. I think that I'm worried about the longevity of Worlds of Marvel if they don't change that film out. And I am so scratching my head about the songs they chose for the Arendelle restaurant and why they did them the way they did them. What are your final thoughts, honey?
I agree. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, Chicago contingent. What are your final thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I feel pretty much the same way. I think I like a lot of the things on the Wish. I think there are some things it does better. I think there's some things it does worse. Ultimately, I like the fantasy more. The Wish is a good second.
All right, Sophie, any other thoughts?
Nope.
And I will leave that pause in for effect in the final product because it was so hilarious. All right. Thanks, everybody, for participating, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us for this very special episode of Mickey, Marvel, and More. And a big thank you to Zack, Sophie, and Laura for being with me around the virtual table for the last 2 episodes, reporting on our Halloween on the High Seas cruise aboard the Disney Wish. Laura and I both agreed that our cruises have to be longer. We felt like we just got our sea legs under us and then it was time to go. And it really felt especially rushed because we were on a brand new ship for us. Don't worry though, I'm quite sure this isn't the last time that the Mickey, Marvel, and More team will sail the high seas with Disney, and we will always bring you along for the ride. For heaven's sakes, we have the brand new Disney Destiny to check out now. Be sure to check out the show notes for all of the menus from our rotational dining experiences from our extremely quick Disney cruise. While you're there in the show notes, be sure to check out all the links to all of our social media pages and feel free to leave us a comment about our trip report or maybe tell us about one of your Disney cruises. If you're feeling particularly long-winded, why not use our email, Mickey, Marvel, and More, all one word, @gmail.com, and give us one of your trip reports. If we read your message on the show, you'll become an official friend of the show. And with becoming an official friend of the show, you know what that means. That's right. You'll receive our love, respect, and total admiration because, you know, we don't have a budget for anything else. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, my name is Mark, and this has been Mickey, Marvel, and More. If you didn't, Who am I kidding? Of course you did, because we've been talking about our Halloween on the High Seas Disney cruise. Yar! We'll see you next time, me mateys.